And time goes so quick. Like, I know everyone says it, but like, I got a couple more years, and at some point, they're not going to want to be with me. Like, I only have so much time with them. And so try to make the most of that time I have with them. I mean, I got to run my business still. I got to be successful there, but I got to be successful at home too and spend time with them. And the time I have with them, impact them that short time I have with them because it goes quick. A lot of times I find challenges are usually worth it, right? You just jump in, you take that challenge, and at the end of it, it sucks in the beginning. You think about it, you're like, oh, this is hard, but at the end of the day, it's worth it, right?
Yeah, that's what separates the winners too. Like you step up to the plate instead of, fold. Welcome to the Cold Tub Talks. Today's guest is Kevin Walker, restaurant owner, juicery owner, and phenomenal family man. Welcome to the show, Kevin.
Thank you so much.
Yes, thanks for coming on. I'm going to kick it off with asking, is the restaurant industry worth it? Like, do you love owning multiple restaurants? How is it for you?
It's fun. It's hard work and not whatever I imagined. I worked in the corporate world before this, and it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, but I love it. I love dealing with customers. I love dealing with my employees. I love, going in every day and just connecting with people and serving people and helping them out. And that part is fun. So
I love it. Because I've always thought to myself, the restaurant industry seems like a pain in the ass. Is it a pain in the ass?
Oh yeah. So yes, it is. It is a lot of work. I said you're working crazy hours. Like when everyone else is off, you're working. And when people are home, going out with their families, that's when you're there, open, serving people. It's small profit margins. So you gotta check every single thing. Everything's important. Everything matters. Like every labor hour, every food, every piece of everything is super important. So
Okay. That's kind of what I thought with the profit margin. But you know what really inspired me about you is that you're a family man. Like every time we spoke, you talk about how you set aside time for like what really matters most in life. And I think a lot of people, as the going gets going, or they establish more restaurants and they build on it, they forget about the things that really matter. And they're just hustling and grinding.
yeah.
So what do you attribute that to? Like, how do you keep the balance as an owner?
It's you have to focus on it because if not, it's easy to lose track. It's easy to lose track. And I don't think I'm perfect at it. It's something that I'm constantly working to be better at, trying to spend more time with my family. But when I'm with my family and I see the look on their faces, that's like the great reminder. Like, hey, this is what matters. This is what's important.
Yeah.
And to be honest, they don't care about how successful my restaurant is, or how much money we have, or what we drive, or where we live, or what they wear. They just want time with me. They want to hang out. They want to throw a ball around. They want to sit on the couch and watch a movie, and that's what's most important to them. And so it reminds me that, hey, that's what's most important to them. That's important to me. And so focusing on them is super, super important.
That right there is exciting. If I didn't already have the goosebumps, that gives me the goosebumps right there.
Yeah.
I'm sure you have goosebumps.
That's the cool one. Oh, it's
The ice desert.
Wait, you told me what's on?
Well, here comes the chest swarm, Devin. My favorite part.
Oh yeah, man, this is when the shivers start to kick in.
Ooh, another ice spread.
Let me see if I can get my arms in here
It
too.
always takes a couple minutes, and then I can't. You're always the beast of the group.
I'm gonna
You always hold strong over there. Look at that water.
Gotta hold strong.
Yeah, it's
Right at the top, baby. If I move, it's gonna spill everywhere.
I love it. I love it.
No, that's so cool though. Like, I think any kid wants to just spend time with their parents. A lot of times when you become an entrepreneur, how many different restaurants and businesses do you own?
so 6 different restaurants, and we got a couple other side things as well. So it keeps us busy.
Yeah. So just like that alone would consume people all day, every day. That's like all they would care about is just their businesses, how much money they're bringing in, the revenue they're creating. But you have to like mentally take that note as like, hey, I need to put this time aside for my family, because if it was just you and your wife, I'm sure it'd be one thing.
Yeah.
But like having kids, it's like, I need to manage my time wisely, or I'm not going to have any time left over to spend with them to create memories. It's just going to be like they grow up and it's like all dad did was work, and they won't have a relationship with you.
It's so true. And time goes so quick. Like, I know everyone says it, but like, I'm like, my kids are like, I have a 10-year-old already. I'm like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I got a couple more years, and at some point they're not going to want to be with me, like they go, especially they get through teen years, they're going to be on their own. They want to do their own thing. And so it's like, I only have so much time with them. And so try to make the most of that time I have with them. I mean, I got to run my business still. I got to be successful there, but I got to be successful at home too and spend time with them. And the time I have with them, impact them that short time I have with them, because it goes quick. So
Yeah.
it goes quick.
Goes
I love
so
that.
quick.
You say that so easily, but that's a really hard balance.
Yeah.
That's really admirable.
Thank you.
Yeah. No, it's so cool. Like I have a 7 and a 4-year-old, so it's the same thing. It's like sometimes you get so consumed by doing other things that you just forget that the most important thing to them is just spending time together.
Time.
You know, like that's all they care about. It's like, oh, you don't want to play or you don't want to do this or do that. And you're like, oh, I got to do this and I got to get this done and do that. But in reality, sometimes you always have that 30 minutes or that hour. It's just like, it's hard for you to check out and not want to do the other things that you know are important and priority.
Yeah.
But I feel like most of the time, family should always take the priority because the business and stuff, as long as you're doing what you need to do, it's always going to be there.
Them.
But that time with your kids, like you were talking about, it's going to go very fast. And the next thing you know, they'll be teenagers. And it's like, they don't want anything to do with these. Guy going as a teenager, it's like you hit that age and you're like, I don't want to be seen with you. I don't want to do anything with you. I don't want my friends to know you're my parent.
You're a dork.
It's like, you have to take as much time, like you got to take advantage of that time while you can before it's just gone. And then, next thing you know, they're going to college or they're doing their own thing. They're moving to a different state and you just got memories left and you see them way less than what you'd like to, but they have their own lives to live too.
Yeah. So speaking of that, like even on the phone this morning, you were mentioning challenges. Like what would you say the biggest challenges with that balance of the work life, having a family, what comes to mind?
I think it's just the challenge of like not getting distracted. It's super easy to just be like, all right, hey, this problem in the business or this is going on. And so literally it has to be so intentional, that you have to make the time with the family. So like for me, one of the things I've tried to do is every Sunday, that's like family day for sure. So I'm home all day. If I do any work, it's after they go to bed, so I'm trying to be with them like all day long and focus on them. And then I've made a couple goals throughout the week. I'm like, okay, Sundays after work late, but let's make sure I'm home X amount of days, like 3 days a week, to be home for dinner and try to eat with them and hang out with them. And so I know business is going to come in the way and there's going to be things, but if I put those goals in place and like focus on that, it helps me out because if not, it's super easy to get consumed with work. Like, I care about my business, and if things are going on, I'm like, I need to be here. I need to do this. And so I think trying to set those goals, and again, they're goals. I'm not perfect at it. There's weeks I miss those goals. There's weeks I'm traveling, but having those goals and being like conscious of it is what helps. If I don't think about it, it won't happen. And so you've got to plan, you got to think through it. You have to have like this goal, like, hey, I want to get this done. Even if you miss the mark sometimes, if you're focused on that goal, you get closer to getting it done. So
It's like that conscious thought, the intention.
absolutely.
Yeah, so true. I'm the same way. A lot of it is just Sundays. I don't really like focus on working at all. Like it's just like more time for the family, and like that's the big priority is just spending time with the family. Whether it's doing something, hanging out, going to one of our family members' house, like that's pretty much what Sunday's dedicated to.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, I can get back to it Monday, then get back after they're at school or doing other things. And you find that balance. And then once you kind of have like a good system down, it's like, okay, well, this day works better to do things with the kids. This day works better to work. And like you said, some days you stay up a little bit later at night working because that's just what works for the family life to be able to balance everything going on around that.
Man, I got to establish a Sunday routine now.
There you go.
Oh, yeah, got Sundays out. I'm over here in La La Land. Got nothing going on with my Sundays. Ooh, who's ready for an ice cold elderberry? Let's go. Kevin, this is our InstaShred Elderberry Immunity Supplement. Sir, this is stronger than vitamin C, but it's got an extra boost of vitamin C. So, like the emergency out there,
Yeah.
you're giving that to your kids.
Yeah.
So this is elderberry. It's sweetened with xylitol. It's natural elderberry flavor. So give it a try.
Awesome.
Thing.
Cheers.
Yep.
That's super good.
Yeah, great for
I
the
like
immune
that.
system. We've given this to our clients when they're traveling or when they feel a sickness coming on. It usually helps kick it a little quicker or even help subside it altogether.
Yeah. This is awesome. I
You
like
like?
Yeah.
Right. That's a win. That's a score.
Yeah.
All right. How you feeling?
Not too bad.
Wow. Let's see that.
Not too bad. I was
Warmed up.
I was worried about this, but it's like I'm really good right now.
Sweet. Well, guess what? It's time to get out.
Oh wow.
We're transitioning.
Seriously?
And that's you got all the benefits of an ice tub right there. So we're going to transition to the couch.
That is crazy.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
I'm really impressed by how, like, you looked pretty cold getting in
Yeah.
and you just like settled right in. Once he was in, he was in.
Yeah. Wow. That was fast. Awesome.
Impressed. Give me some knucks.
There we go.
All right, up and out we go. Hey, I want to give a quick shout out to the Pod Company, our sponsor for the Cold Tub Talks podcast. I'm sitting in their Ice Pod Pro. These are the best in-class pods. If you don't have one, you should get one for yourself. And if you haven't seen the Cold Tub Talks podcast, you can head over to YouTube, the InstaShred page, and check it out for yourself. Welcome back to the Cold Tub Talks. We're here with Kevin. Kevin, a few of his facilities are juiceries, actually, some of the restaurants that he owns. So Kevin, what's so good about juicing? Like, give us what's behind the juicing and opening up these facilities.
Yeah, so we've at our 3 locations, and juicing for me has just been a great way to help get my nutrients in, to try to eat healthier. Every so often, I like to do, like, a cleanse just because it helps me to reset.
Yeah.
Even though I have the juicery and I have access to, having juice and smoothies and, like, our organic, vegetables and things like that all the time, it's so easy to just, like, slip back into old habits. You're at an event, you're at a party, you're at work, family stuff, parties, whatever you're at, just there's always these ways to like drift back into old habits. And so for me, it's that way to get my nutrients in on a daily basis, but then also quarterly, just resetting, like getting back mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. It's like, all right, take this 3, 4 days and just get like refocused back to center and getting back on track. So
Yeah.
We're all about that. I mean, juicing is such a dense source of nutrition too.
Yes.
That's what I love about it. Do you think everyone should be juicing?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's just a great way to get nutrients in. And like for each of our juices, it's like 1.5 to 2 pounds of vegetables. I would never eat that in a sitting, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And so I can get all those nutrients in. And I really try to do just mixing it up too, like drinking the rainbow, right? Because I can do all it talks about green juices, green juices, green juices, but like beet juice has amazing benefits too. And I love doing that just like before a workout too. So we do like a pre-workout or something like that. I'll do like some beet juice or blue spirulina is great for muscle recovery. So
Yeah.
a lot of these things are great ways to get your nutrients in naturally too. So
Absolutely. Yeah. What is the process? Because I know we've talked a few times about the facilities and you guys have great products. I mean, the place looks awesome. The juices have great blends. What's your guys' process of what makes you more unique than some juicing out there? Because you're very organic, your sourced ingredients. Like you take a lot of pride in what you guys
absolutely.
do at your facilities. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, it's really about the quality. I think, sometimes because you see a juice bar and people are like, oh, it's healthy automatically. And that's
Yeah.
how it always
Yeah,
occurs. And so for us, it's a couple things. Number one is the all organic produce. So we're 100% organic produce. It costs more money, but it's important, getting clean produce into your diet. And then also, our primary juice is the cold press juice process. And so just having juice that's not, heated up. And so I mean, we have some centrifugal options just because a lot of people like to see it. And so we make it for them. They want to see the vegetables go in and see the juice come out. So we do offer that. But my favorite is definitely the cold press because it's just better quality.
Yeah.
It lasts longer. You're getting more nutrients in there. It's more purity for sure.
Would you say that's like similar to microwaving? Like microwaving zaps nutrients. So if you're heating up the vegetable source, you're zapping a lot of the nutritional benefits.
100%, 100%. And if you are going to do centrifugal, just you gotta drink it right away, like you can, because the more time goes on, it continues breaking down, and so but cold press definitely 100% better, and the vegetables will hold their nutrients longer through cold press process. So we do like 5 days, and it's still good. You're still gonna get as many nutrients as you would on day one as day five. Versus centrifugal, half hour every 10, 15 minutes.
Interesting.
It's breaking down more and more. So you want to drink
I started my juicing journey with the centrifugal
So did
juicer.
so did I. I think
Yeah.
it's the easiest, it's the cheapest, it's if you're jumping in, and like for me, when I started, I was like, all right, I don't know if this is gonna work. I don't know if I'm gonna want to do this. Let's give it a shot. I don't know if I can do it. So I bought cheap centrifugal juicer,
Yeah.
and that's better than nothing, right? It's a place to start. But then as you learn more, it's like, all right, there's more opportunities to have more nutrients and do better. So let's do that. So
Yeah.
are you doing centrifugal now, or what do you do?
No, so what's funny is actually I've been doing cold press for years now, but the centrifugal is always broke too. So I feel like centrifugal after centrifugal unit, I was spending the amount of money I would on a nice cold press unit anyways. So I went cold press and I realized then the benefits are greater. So I was like cold press all the way.
There you go. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I was over here thinking that Kevin literally lives the lifestyle. He owns a juicery, like for health. And then you also have some other type of restaurants, like Mexican restaurant. I'm like, wow, talking about flexible diet. He can have the bad stuff with the good stuff, the unhealthy with the healthy. You gotta have best of both worlds. And we had a great conversation off camera, just talking about health and fitness and goals and stuff like that. And one thing I loved that you said was like, you were talking about your daughter and her wanting to go to the gym, and he was telling me that every time they pass by, she's like, "That's your gym. Can I go?" And like, so cool that that's something you get to like pass on. And like I said, when you have kids, it's like they almost are more excited than you are to go to the gym sometimes because they know that you go. So it's like a good thing that you get to pass on to them. And it's just a good feeling, I'm sure.
Yeah, it is. I'm like, I can't wait till I can take her with me. Right? It's
Yeah.
just so fun. She's so excited about it, and she like literally asks me all the time, like, "Can I go with you?" And then, even before that, like, what can we do right now? Like, let's go to the park. Let's do like a little workout in the park or something outside, or can we do something at home together where we can work out together and just kind of get her into that habit? And a couple of my kids, and not all my kids are into it as much, but like, the ones that are into it, like to do it with them. And hopefully my other one will join in as well and just kind of see like, hey, it's a good life skill, right?
Yeah.
To work out, to take care of your body, to be fit. You only get one body and it's good to take care of it, right? So
Yeah. You get to lead by example.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that.
Yeah.
You beat me to it. What kind of people do you get in your facilities? Like, do you notice a lot of people consistently juicing? Are they naturally healthy, do you think? Are they wanting to get more healthy?
we get a variety of all the above. So I think summertime you get some people who just want something cold and tastes good. So that's a part of our crowd too.
Fresh, probably.
Yeah, it's something fresh, nice, and juice. We get some people who are doing it because they are healthy and they want to maintain it, and we have some people on their health journeys, and it's cool. I love talking to people and kind of hearing a little bit of their stories.
Yeah, I can tell that.
And it's super cool though when you hear like, hey, you know what? I had this issue, this sickness, or this issue with my body, and this is part of my regimen to get better. And like, I mean, I don't know. For me, this just like it gives me goosebumps. Like I'm like, that's why I do this. Hearing those stories, hearing why people like juice, and hearing the story behind it is super cool. And everyone's journey is different, right? But to hear those different journeys and like and just relate with them is just super cool. I love hearing those stories. I love hearing about people and how this is helping them because that was my goal. Like I wanted to do a juice bar to help people. I wanted to eat healthier. Juicing at home, I mean, I know you do it, but like for me, it was a pain.
It is. I mean,
Yeah.
it is a pain.
Yeah. And so I was like, all right, I want to make something easier for myself and for other people like me who see the value of juicing, but don't want to take time to, go out and buy the vegetables and prep the vegetables and then juice. And then the worst part is like cleaning up. Like when you're in the middle of it, it's like, it's kind of cool sometimes. Like, and you see the juice coming out, but then the cleanup, it's like, all right.
Even breaking down the unit, like there's so many pieces to it.
And washing it, making sure it's all good. And if you're doing it every day too, it's even more work. So my goal was to create something that was easy for people so that they could do that and make it healthy for them. And so to hear their stories and like learn more about what they're doing and why they're doing it, it's just kind of cool. So.
Yeah, you're definitely the luxury. You're like staying at the Four Seasons in the juicing world. Oh, that's cool. I can tell that your passion is directly tied to the business side too, just based on what you said about having the conversations and learning about people's lifestyles. Like, why are you here? What are you doing this for?
Especially when I see someone more than once, I'm like, tell me your story. Why do you come in? Like, what's this do for you? And
Yeah.
it's just kind of cool. And it keeps me motivated and excited about what I do because I want to help people. And if I can help people in that way, like, man, it makes it worth it. All the long hours, the challenges, the long days, it makes it worth it for me. So.
And I'm sure that's some of the success. I remember when we visited one of your facilities and you met up with us, you kind of said there's some things that you've been able to adopt or bring in that you haven't allowed because it goes against what you did it in the first place for, like the organically sourced ingredients or whatever the reason is. I think that's cool to keep that standard.
Yes. Yeah, it's always kind of like evaluating it. And my goal is for always become better, right? Like as more knowledge becomes available and as I learn more and as we grow, how do we become better? Like every single day. So not competing with another juice bar or another business or another person, but like ourselves, right? Like how are we better ourselves, better than we were yesterday? So
Dude, that's literally like our philosophy too. Like we're not in competition with anyone. So many millions of people out there that can better their health and fitness, and who are we to be in competition with another fitness company? Like we're on the same team, trying to change lives for the better. There's plenty of fish in the sea to go around.
Exactly.
That's cool. I love that.
So sure. Where did you start in business? What was like the very first business you ever started?
Well, back when I was 5 years old.
For real? 5 years old?
I say it joking, like, but yeah, it was like I've just loved business since being a little kid. Like I would take stuff. My grandma used to order on this like mail order catalog thing called Finger Hut, and so she would order Finger Hut. I think that's what it's called. I mean, I was
The hut ripped them.
and so she would get like these like she'd order something on there like for the house or whatever, and they would send like you order one thing and they would send 7 free gifts, right? So I would take like those gifts and I would go sell them to my teachers at school. And so like that's where my business mind started. Like I loved like sales, I loved business. But I did a bunch of things throughout my time as a teenager, a lawn service. I don't know how, but I convinced my school to let me tune the pianos, and it was the hardest thing I ever done.
Okay.
So I was like,
Convinced the school to let you do that.
yeah, and I was just like, what am I doing here? So,
Wow.
and then after college, I got into real estate. So I started buying real estate properties, and first I was flipping. And then the market kind of changed, and then once the market changed, we switched to a model of buy and hold. So I had rental properties. I still have a few of them now, and then from there, it went to work in the corporate world. And so I worked for insurance, Liberty Mutual. I was in the insurance world for a while there, and then got recruited to what's a company called USI. Did that for a little bit, and then I was like, and then I went to actually from there, I went to a nonprofit called Corporate Chaplains, and I worked in there for a little bit, on the business side still, but for a nonprofit. And then I was like, I want to get back into business. I miss it. And so an opportunity came up to buy a restaurant from my wife's family. And so one of her, actually, it wasn't even owned by a family member at that point. It was another friend of the family at that point. But we bought that location and started. So I had never worked in a restaurant a day in my life. In high school and college, but I was up for the challenge. Just kind of like today, I was like, all right, let's jump in the cold plunge. Like, it was I'm like, I don't know what I'm thinking, but let's just do it. Let's just go.
Yeah. And you freaking did it.
And it was awesome. It was worth it, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of times I find challenges are usually worth it, right? You just jump in, you take that challenge, and at the end of it, it sucks in the beginning. You think about it, you're like, oh, this is hard, but at the end of the day, it's worth it, right?
Yeah. That's what separates the winners too.
Yeah.
Like you step up to the plate instead of, fold.
Yeah.
Give in.
So that was I jumped into the restaurant and started working, doing that. I had some family there for the first week or so helping out, and then they were all gone. It was just me. And I remember someone coming up to me, he's like, "Hey, does this taste okay? Is this over?" And I was like, "Add more salt." I don't know, like I have no clue. I'm not a chef.
Wow. I'm talking about being thrown into the fire.
I'm not a chef. Never cooked before. Never worked in a restaurant. It's a Mexican restaurant. I'm not even Mexican, right? And I'm like telling you guys here what to do here. But over time, I like dug in and like learned everything I could. I mean, so like over the years, like I don't say I'm an expert now, but if I need to make a burrito right now, I can go make a burrito. If I need to cook, whatever I need to cook, I can do it. I'm not as fast as my guys, but I can jump in any position in the restaurant. So I learned that part of the business, and then I learned the business side of it, right? So it was two sides because a lot of times restaurants fail because you're a good chef and you're a good cook and you have the best food, but if you don't have the business side down, it doesn't matter because
Sure.
and there's tons of restaurants that they're not really that good, but they're still existing because they have that business side down. So
It's just
you can be both, right? Like good food and the great business background, like it goes so much further. And so I really just dived into like learning as much as I could to make our business successful. I go to conferences, I found mentors.
Yeah, I love that.
To learn everything I could and keep growing. I said, and every day I'm still learning. I was just last week in a conference in Arizona learning because you never stop learning. There's always something new and there's always different connections you can make. And so that's gonna be my goal. Like keep going, become better than yesterday.
Yeah. That's what gravitated me towards you too. It's like I felt that tenacity in you. When you went to that event, you're like, yeah, I talked to you while you were there. And you're like, yeah, I was talking with the owner of PF Chang's and we got these big guys here. And I'm like, man, he's out there like getting it.
Yeah.
And he's been in the industry for how many years, but he's still out there learning and still,
You never stop learning. Never stop learning.
I love that though. It's like, I like to use the quote, I'm always a student to life. Instead of saying I know something, it's like I always try to remind myself in my head. It's like, hey, just take it as a reminder. Don't play the game of, I know. Because you kind of hold yourself back.
Absolutely. Lots of limitations that way. So
Yeah.
You've put time into your career and your life. Now it's time your body reflected that same standard. At InstaShred, we coach busy men through bespoke online programs to improve their appearance, performance, and health. To get started, just click the link in the description, head to instashred.com, and book your free call.
Restaurants always blow my mind sometimes of so many people or like even TV shows and stuff that I watch of like people that just buy restaurants, but like you were saying, have no experience or knowledge of like what they're doing. How does that what made you even want to buy the restaurant if you knew you had like no experience in that field whatsoever?
I love a challenge. I love a challenge,
Okay.
So, I mean, honestly, I didn't even think through it a ton. So I remember I was out of town. I was on a family vacation. I got a call. Hey, this restaurant's available. Are you interested? I'm like, 100%, And so I got back. I went and looked at the restaurant, thought through, like, let's figure out the funding of it and everything. 2 weeks later, there's a sign on the door, like, closer remodeling, new ownership, opening soon. And I mean, literally, that was my process. In 2 weeks, I went from never ever working in restaurants to saying, hey, we're going to do this restaurant. We're going to open it up and we're going to jump in and we're going to do it. I think a part of it was I didn't know what I didn't know. I mean, the restaurant industry is hard. So if I would have had too much knowledge of it, I would have said, maybe let's not do this. Because we think of reasons why not to do it, right?
Oh,
You easily find, this is going to happen. This is going to happen. This is not going to work. And this is so many hours. And I just remember thinking like I didn't know it. I didn't know it. Just today, I've never done a cold plunge before. You called me up this morning, let's do it. I'm like, all right, let's do it.
Hey, that's the way it was supposed to be. Call them the day of.
What am I on before? I would have thought I would look up some videos of people getting into it and be like, oh man, I don't know if I want to do that. That looks cold. Like I hate being cold. I like the warm. I hate being cold, but I think just, not thinking, and sometimes that's a problem too. Like I don't recommend always just jumping into things. Sometimes you gotta think through some things, but sometimes it's fun just to jump in and just go with it and see what happens. And so that's kind of what I did with the restaurant industry. Just jumped in, and but also at the same time recognize I didn't know and look into to grow and trying to find ways to, like, who do I find? Let me get these mentors. Let's read these books. Let's watch these podcasts. Let's do whatever it takes to make sure we're successful. Because I can jump in and just stay there and be like, all right, okay, I don't know, let's just be here, right?
Yeah.
Or let's jump in, but at the same time, like, let's seek out knowledge. Let's seek out how to become better.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, I mean, you beat the odds. Like most places close down in the first couple of years, especially if you have no experience whatsoever. So you beat those odds going in and surviving. So congrats to you on that. But
appreciate.
yeah, that was just always something I thought in my mind until I talked to a restaurant owner. It's like you are living it, having the no experience whatsoever. I always just think in the back of my mind when I watch those shows, I'm like, how would anyone think that's a good idea? You have no idea what you're possibly doing. I'm like, it's no wonder a lot of the times the business are failing that they're showing on TV. It's like when you're not an expert or you're not seeking mentorship or trying to figure things out, it's like, how are you possibly going to survive? And most people are like, I thought it was just going to be profitable. Like I thought it was going to be easy. It's like,
Yeah.
nothing in life's gonna be easy that's worthwhile, worth having. I'm sure you didn't think that when you went into it, like, "Oh, this is gonna be an easy moneymaker." Like, restaurants are one of the hardest things to be profitable in.
Yeah, I knew it was gonna be a challenge. I said, like, I love that challenge, and I was like, let's go for it. But you're right. Nothing easy is worth it. If you want something successful, you got to work hard. It's gonna take some challenges. It's gonna take some work, and so it's just been a fun process. Like I love the process, right? Like I went through it in the beginning. I was like, man, this is hard. It is hard. And I remember I'm working twice as hard as I worked in the corporate world. I'm making half as much. And so I'm like, what am I doing? Why did I do this for a second? I'm like, no. All right, well, we're here now and we got to make it work, right? Like I invested everything I had into this business to make it work. And so I'm like, there's no other option. We've got to make it work. And so it got to a point where it's like, all right, I've got to make, and I remember for a while, like it was crazy. I would do, so in the morning I would get up at 8, a restaurant opened up at 10:30. Or start working at 8. So I would go from 8 to 10 and I would just like literally, my background was insurance. And so that was sales. And so I'm like, all right, let's knock on doors, right? I sold vacuums when I was in college too, door to door. So I'm like, all right, let's go back to what I know, right? Like I can knock on doors. And so I literally went from company to company, knocking on doors, talking about a restaurant, dropping off coupons, talking about catering. And I would do that from 8 to 10. And then I would go to the restaurant from 10:30 or from 10 until 10 p.m., 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. and work the store. And then because I wasn't making enough money, I would go from like 10:30 p.m. to midnight and I would do like Uber because I'm like, all right, I got to make this work. And so I'm like, all right, this is a tough time, and I've got to do what I got to do to make this work, but I'm willing to commit to it. Like it's hard, it sucks, but
Yeah.
I got to do it. So
Wow, cut a season of life.
yeah.
I would never do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kudos. Yeah.
That just shows, like, your hard work and dedication and drive that you have. Circling back to kinda what you were saying, like, if it was easy, everyone would do it. Like, on our last podcast we had with Brendan, it was talking about, we show so much respect to people that are fit and in shape, and we know how difficult it can be because that's, like, one of very few things in life that you can just buy or have delivered to you. Like, you actually have to put in the work and the effort and the discipline to, like, eat a little bit healthier, take care of your body, go to the gym and show up for yourself, go exercise. So it's just cool when people do that, that all you want to do is just show them some credit of like what they did. So
Absolutely.
Yeah. So now fast forward to where you've excelled. You've got a team underneath you. How do you hold that team to the amazing standard that you just shared?
So, it's interesting. It is a challenge because not everyone holds the same values and not everyone cares as much. And so I've really found my role now is developing people. And so I focus a ton on that. My team, we're in the restaurant business, but they're learning about business principles. Like we sit together and go through like the psychology of business, the psychology of restaurants, of
Really,
selling.
with your employees?
Oh yeah,
Do that?
especially with my management team. So we have like our district manager, and then we have our general managers of every store, and we get together monthly, and we're going through, and a part of that's going through the numbers and going through systems and changes. But I always have a part I call the education corner, and we focus on educating them. And I really try to invest in my team. I have. It was really cool. I had recently just one of my employees. He's a young guy, and he started off, and he was just not good. I mean, he was slow. He was not picking up. But I could see something in him. Like I could see that he cared. And so I told our manager, I was like, let's keep him. let's keep him because it's just going to take a little bit of time. And so it's fast forward. I think it's been probably a little over a year now. And he just came to me. He's like, he's like, I want to do more. I want to get more involved. And he also came to me with like this list of ideas. And I was just like, wow, is this the same super quiet in high school? Like, hadn't really found himself, I think. But he came to me and was just like, I want to get more involved. I want to do more here. What else can I do? And he came with a list of ideas. And I was like, I was pretty like it blew me away.
That's
But
good.
he was like sitting there thinking about our business, how to make it better. And I'm like, all right, let's do it. Let's sit down, let's talk. And I think when I responded that way to him too, he's like, wow, like he does care and there is opportunity. And so like one of my goals too is like really empowering people. I try to find like what people's gifts are besides because they're more than just a smoothie maker or a cashier or
Dude, yeah.
or a dishwasher.
Yeah.
And so it's like, what else can they do? And so, and let them use that inside of my business. So we had one guy, he's an artist. And so I was like, hey, can you, like, we have this chalkboard, like paint on our wall. I'm like, hey, can you come and paint something or draw something for us? And he was just blown away that I would ask him. He was like, yeah, thank you so much. I'm like, thank you. I need something on the wall. But he was so excited that I asked him, like, and he said, then he drew. And so it's always trying to find like, who people are beyond what they do in our restaurants and empowering them to do that with and help us in the store too. And maybe not always in the store, but if we can use it for the store, like, hey, do this, jump in. You don't have to stand on the grill and just do that all the time. What else can you do? Jump over here and help me out with this. Actually, my controller, crazy story, was a one of our cooks. And so one day I was like, hey, I need some help in the office. And I was like, can you help me out? He came in, he did it, and he did it really good. I was like, have you done this before? Did you study this? Like, he had moved here from Mexico. I was like, "Did you go to school in Mexico?" He's like, "No." I'm like, "Okay." I'm like, "Try this." He did it and did really good. And I'm just like, wow. And so this guy now, he's been working for me for 6 years, like, is our controller. He pays all of our bills, does all our invoicing. He was literally a cook in my restaurant, right? And so he could have stayed as a cook, and I could have never tapped into what he was or what more he could do. Or I can try to find that in people and like pull it out of people and help develop them and help them use their skills in whatever way possible. And for me, that's super rewarding, like to be able to like motivate people to do their best, right? And to find their gifts, find their talents. And if they can stay and use it for us, like that's wonderful. I love that. That's not always gonna happen. Sometimes they're gonna move on, but the longer they can stay with us and help us out, that's awesome. So
Yeah, that's the attribute of a good person right there. It reminds me of something we do at InstaShred, call them cherries on top. A lot of people come and they have the goal of losing weight or like, I want to have more energy, but then we look for those little things that we can give them
Mm.
that they wouldn't have expected.
that's awesome.
Like they've got a tweak in their shoulder, they've always had some knee pain. And it's like, hey, well, let's help them achieve the weight loss, feel better, look better. But let's also work on those small issues that we remember and we took a note of that they mentioned that they wouldn't have thought at the end of the journey.
That's awesome.
And it's like the whole package.
That's really
It's the cherry on top.
so yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure as sometimes when you just go a little bit above and beyond, it just makes someone's whole experience of being there. It's like, oh, you want a free sample or you want to try this? Like, yeah, go ahead. Like, you're not gonna be charged for it. I'm sure some people, it's like those minor things they just remember. Like, oh, that was a good experience.
Absolutely. And that's one of the things we really try to focus on with our team is really getting them to think that way. These are our guests, right? I don't even like the word customers. They're guests. And so if you think of a guest coming over to your house, right? Like you clean up number one, you make sure everything is like nice and in order. You offer them, snacks and drinks and you're checking in with them. Are you okay? Do you need anything? And that's what we want to do in our restaurant, right? Like making sure our guests are comfortable. And so if it's a sample or hey, I've always wanted to try that. Here you go, let's try it,
Yeah.
and just here's a sample of this, here's a sample of that. We don't have table service, but can we carry out the food out to the table? If we see someone who's, maybe disabled walking in and can we open the door for them? And so just looking in ways to help people. And so, because I think that's what makes a difference, right? You can get Mexican food anywhere, you can get juices a lot of places, right? But we have to create this differentiating factor of the experience and people come first. Like that's what matters most is the person themselves, right? And so we work really hard at that.
Quick heads up, Cold Tub Talks isn't just this podcast. We offer bespoke online coaching for busy men who want to improve their appearance, performance, and health. Just click the link in the description below and head to instashred.com to book your free call.
Yeah. Dang, that's so true though. That's every business though.
Yeah.
That's like we were talking about that too, like fitness. Like you could go find hundreds of thousands of people that do fitness and coaching and stuff like that, but it's like how can you differentiate the experience that person can have that makes you just that much better, or like have an overall better experience than they would with this other company or team that they worked with that makes them way more likely to refer you to someone else versus like, hey, they weren't that great.
Yeah. And I think that's where the entrepreneurial personality type, like we always see a reason to keep going or stand out. Because a lot of people have the excuse, which is nothing wrong with this, but like, oh, that's oversaturated industry, and they don't do it because there's a bunch of people already doing it. But that's how our world works. There's always someone going to have done it before you, but doesn't mean you can't do it better or in your own way. Or back to the whole we're all on the same team thing. Even if you're doing the same thing as them, but you're changing lives that they wouldn't have touched, you're still doing a good thing in this world.
Yeah.
The rest of your head
That's
full
awesome.
at the end of the night and feel good about yourself.
What are some of the things that you get, like that differences for you guys? What makes it special for your clients?
Yeah, I mean, we love to take advantage of what our body already has within it. Like we live in a world of marketing, right? There's the supplements and the products and the diets and the workout regimens. If you've heard of 75 hard, we've got carnivore, keto, paleo. We like to take advantage of what our body already has, which is the metabolism, and maximize it, get it revving on all cylinders, set you up for success, and then achieve a result that's sustainable. All those diets and the fads, they can get you a result, but one, you're deprived in the end, and two, you're most likely not going to be able to maintain it while resorting back to a normal lifestyle.
I love that sustainable because like I've done diets before too, and it's like, all right, you lose weight and you feel great, and then slowly just drip back. I even tell people like too with juicing and cleanses, like it's not a miracle worker, right? This is it's a process, it's a catalyst to get things going, but you got to do something else besides just this. You got to maintain and do have a complete package, right? It's not just the miracle pill. Here's a juice cleanse, and now you're good for the rest of your life. Like if you go back to doing what you were doing before, you will have the same results you had before. So right. So that sustainability is super important.
Yeah, you can't abuse anything. Like I'm sure there's people. I mean, there's even healthy obsessions that become unhealthy. I've heard of people that get into fasting, and every time they screw up in their diet for too long or they go on one too many vacations, "Oh, I'm just gonna reset with a fast," and it's like you're doing a good thing, but you're using it as a caveat to your bad habits. So every 2 weeks when I eat like dog shit, I'm gonna just reset with a juice fast or something. It's like, you know.
Yeah, I said use it as a catalyst for a lifestyle, not just as a miracle worker. Or
Yeah, good way to put it.
Yeah, so true. I mean, if you can just have that flexibility and sustainability to make something a habit, it's going to be easy to maintain, right? Versus like, oh, I'm just going to go off track. Like, okay, now I'm just going to do this and then I'll get back on track. Then you go back off track and it's like you're never building healthy patterns for yourself to be able to stay on track or ever reach your goal. Like you're just going to keep getting derailed and you're like, all right, I'll fix it by doing this. And then it's a bad habit that you just keep going over and over.
So being a growth-oriented individual and liking challenges,
yes.
what do you think is next? Do you like where you're at, or do you feel like there's more that you're reaching for at this point in your life?
No, I think that I'm always looking to grow, right? I think it's just within me. Sometimes my wife is like, why are we doing this? I'm like, I don't know. I can't stay here. I gotta keep,
Yeah.
I gotta keep growing. But I've learned that growth doesn't always have to be like more stores. It could just be becoming better at what we do too. How do we grow sales in our same store sales? It could be a new restaurant. It could be a different location. I've got some goals from some additional stores too. I'm not rushing into it, but some additional stores in the future. But I'm also just becoming better at what we do, right? Like just becoming the best. Like I want to be the best place for Mexican food in the burbs, and I want to be the best juice bar in the burbs, right? And so making sure that every day we become better, develop our team. And I think a big part of it's a team because I can't do it myself, especially with 6 locations. I can't be there every day at every store, making sure every customer is happy. And so really focusing on developing our team so that they are the ones doing that too. And so I love that. I love people development. So the more I can develop our team and grow our team and then create opportunities for them to grow as well. It's really cool. We have a store where we don't have a general manager right now. And it was the week it happened right before I went to my conference. And so I'm like, oh man, this is not good. Should we stay back? And my district manager was going with me too. And as I've looked, I'm like, let's just go. Let's see what happens. And the team, I was so impressed, like really, like they stepped up. Like I saw people do things that they hadn't done before, working harder than they had worked before, paying attention to things they hadn't paid attention to before. And it's just interesting to see like people, I think it's within people, right? And so my goal is how do I pull that out of people? How do I help them become the best they can at work? Just help them to develop the most they can, just be the best they can. And so I don't know, I love that. I love working on that. So that's kind of been my focus lately. Like, how do I develop more people, helping them become the best they can? And helping our business at the same time. So
That's the attribute of a good human being right there. So we've talked about some of like the glorious things and some of the reasons why we do it. What about the unsexy things? Like you mentioned earlier on the phone, like there's some challenges that are
Right.
upon you right now. Like what would be an example of that?
Yeah, so I told you I kind of like I like to jump into the challenge, right? But sometimes not always thinking about it, right? You gotta think about the same thing sometimes. So we did a store in Florida, and it didn't really work out.
Oh, in Florida.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we did for it was great. I was like, oh, this is great. I can go there for the weather, get away from, especially in the summer and the winter time here, get some sun. But yeah, we opened a store that it didn't do as well as I wanted to, right? And so that was
What kind of store?
I was one of our juice bars.
Oh,
And for a variety of reasons, I think, part of it's staffing, part of it's the distance, me not being to be there often enough here. Even though I'm not in the stores all the time, I mean, they're all 30, 40 minutes away maximum. I can easily get to a store, check it out, and have a presence and have an impact there. Whenever I jump on a plane, 3-hour plane ride, or, I'm not even thinking about driving because it's too far
yeah.
to drive, but, it makes it harder. And then also the area. So, like doing the research and like knowing the area, like, is this the best area for it? And so I think there's a lot of factors that went into it, but it was a time where I was like, okay, all right, this is a tough time for our business. It's not working. And what do I do? And as a business owner, like, you never want to fail, right? You never want to have, but it's having those challenges. I'm like, all right, what do I learn from this? Right. At the end of the day, if it didn't work out, at least it was an education, right? And you think of, if you go to Harvard, it's an expensive education, right? But you learn something from it. And so I went to the School of Hard Knocks, had an education there and learned from it. And the goal was to come out better. And so I kind of sat down and analyzed, all right, what did we learn from here? What can we do better? And what can we learn and do differently in the future so that we don't have these challenges? And so I think it's a part of life, part of the process. But in the middle of it, I think it's really making sure you get back up, right? Like it's easy to like, all right, you got a challenge here. I didn't go the way you wanted to. It's easy to like let your mind take over and be like, man, this isn't gonna work, and why am I doing this over here? And
Yeah.
just to get down and out,
Yeah.
or not want to you just want to give up, like, because it sucks. Sometimes it sucks, right?
Yeah.
But then to really like push forward beyond that challenge and say, all right, make it a positive. I learned this, and this from here. I'm gonna be better at this, and this now.
Yep.
I think throughout the process, we became a stronger business, right? We became more lean. We cut expenses. We began to monitor things differently. We began to say, okay, for the next project, here's what we need to look at. And so I think it was really cool to have that process. I mean, it wasn't cool to have the process, but right, but like it happened, and it was cool to learn from that process.
Yeah.
So,
Look at that takeaway, right? That outlook. After a technical failure, what most people would, classify as a failure, to have that outlook, like that's a winner's mentality. You can't lose at life.
right.
You can't, because even on your worst day, you take something to learn from or grow because of it. And I just don't see how you can lose when, the day where the world's crumbling down on some people that feel the pressure. It's like you come out of it and you're like, oh, well, at least I got this takeaway, or I learned what not to do.
Yeah, I think you're right. You don't lose unless you give up. When you give up, you lose. But if you keep going, you never lose, right? It's just a process.
Yeah.
No, that's so true. Like, quote, I cannot lose if I do not quit.
Yeah.
With a little clap in it.
Yep. Gotta have a little flap in there. So what would you say is the biggest life lesson you've learned from having successful businesses and then also having like failing business?
So I think kind of what we just said, like, just never give up, and also just always looking to be better than yesterday. In the good times and the bad times, like, keep working hard. And then also, I need people, right? I need my employees to help me do this thing. I need my mentors to help me. And so the importance of people for me has been huge. Like, I on my own, I couldn't do this all. It's impossible. I would not be able to I wouldn't be here doing what I'm doing
Yeah.
without the people around me.
Yeah.
And I said, it's both from the mentors, it's peers, and it's my employees. All three.
Yeah.
All necessary. Just
Yeah.
one, I think, would also not work. But having all three of those has been a huge part of my life, and has helped me to keep going, helped me to endure it, and recognizing those people in my life. And honestly, I'm super grateful for them, because without them, it'd be nothing. It'd be nothing.
Yeah.
So,
Man, it's beautiful. That's awesome. A journey. Life's such a journey.
yes, absolutely.
Yeah. And hopefully some of them are watching. You guys are very appreciated from the sounds of it, of how much Kevin cares about you and just wants the best for you. And I think that's really cool. Like you give them so many opportunities to grow and to learn, and trying to be like a mentor to them, that sometimes that's what's nice about working for small businesses rather than like corporations or other places where it's kind of like you're just a body. Sometimes when you have like an actual owner that cares about people or the results you're going to get in life, you learn so much more than what you would working somewhere else, or possibly even learning in college if you're trying to go for things. You know, you have someone that's walking the walk and talking the talk at the same time versus like going and learning from a book that maybe isn't going to teach you everything you need to actually learn in life.
Absolutely. It's that life experience, and I try to make that available to my employees. If you reach out to me and have questions, like, I'm always like, let's do it, and so I was super excited to hear this young kid like reach out to me, right? Like,
Yeah.
he doesn't have a super tight relationship with me. I'm not there all the time, and so it could be intimidating, and when I come in, I'm very much like, hey, this has to be like this, and I'm very much like clever. But this guy, like, he didn't care. He's like, I'm gonna reach out. Like, he wants to do something more. He wants to learn more. He reached out to me, and like, I mean, I just melt. Like, I'm Mr. Strict guy, but like, I melt when you reach out. I'm like, hey, I want to learn this, or I want to do this, or I want to help out, or tell me more about this. I just become like this big soft teddy bear. I'm like, oh, let's do it.
That was your employee you're talking about,
Yeah.
the one that in high school? Well, shout out to you if you're watching this.
Yeah.
Kudos.
So, wrapping up, what would be the biggest piece of advice you give to someone wanting to enter in this industry? I mean, everyone's got to eat, right? I'm
Yes,
sure a lot of
yes.
people have thought of like, oh, I'm going to do a food truck, a restaurant, or a juice bar. What would be your piece of advice to someone thinking about that?
I would say, I think two things. I think one, do it, like, just do it, right? But then also, like, learn as much as you can. Whether it be podcasts or school or books or finding a mentor or working in the industry. But you gotta know what you're doing too. So taking that, like, that passion, desire, and that mixing it with like the knowledge and education,
Mm,
and then just don't give up. Like, and you'll be really successful with that.
yeah.
So you don't want them to go in blind like you.
Don't go in blind. Don't go in blind.
Take that tip. Don't go in blind.
Nice. Where can people find you at, Kevin, and your restaurants?
So we have for Extract, we have 3 locations. We have one in St. Charles, Illinois, 1970 West Main Street, just right at Randall and North, or Randall and
stuff.
Main Street. Yeah. Also in downtown Wheaton, Illinois. We also have one in Minnesota, in Edina, Minnesota, right at 50th and France in that district. So juiceries are there, famous. We have Lombard, Glendale Heights, and Wheeling. So those 3 locations. So
Nice. Good stuff. Awesome, man. And you do social media on a personal level?
absolutely. So we have LinkedIn, connect on there as well, or Instagram, or anything like that. So yeah.
Inspiring story. Good guy to start following.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Well, thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for
Tons of
having me.
value.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Ton of takeaways.
It was really, really fun. And thanks for challenging me. I said, to jump into that cold plunge today. That was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sent himself to a new stratosphere with his mental toughness right there.
He's got another future cold plunger, right?
I think
Get yourself a pot.
so. Yep, I'm going to. Okay.
Cool. All right.
Awesome. Well, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thanks so much for coming on.
And that was our interview on the Cold Tub Talks with Kevin Walker. For more great interviews from the Cold Tub Talks series, you can click right here.